The sun of Arden 9 burned like a dying ember in the orange sky. The desert stretched endlessly, broken only by the metal outlines of a lonely human outpost, Outpost Vega 12. It was a small base on the edge of known space, built for research but always ready for war. Lieutenant Marcus Hale stood on the outer ramp, sand crunching under his boots, his rifle resting on his shoulder. The wind carried a low hum of static, and dust devils danced in the distance. To most soldiers, Arden 9 was a punishment post. To Marcus, it was peace, quiet, distant, far from Earth's politics. The silence broke when his comm crackled to life. "Lieutenant Hale, this is Patrol Unit 3, a voice said. "We've got movement north of Sector Delta. Unidentified life form, possibly wounded." Marcus frowned. "Copy that. Hold your position. I'm coming." He grabbed his helmet, secured it, and rode his hover bike across the dunes. The twin engines left bright streaks of light behind him. After 10 minutes, he saw 3 soldiers kneeling beside something in the sand. It wasn't human. The figure was small, thin, and covered in torn gray fabric. Pale blue skin shimmered faintly under the twin suns. A pair of faint ridges ran along her arms, glowing weakly with every breath. Her hair, if it could be called that, looked like fine silver threads. "Found her like this," one soldier said. "Probably a Thalnar scout. Could be a spy." Marcus crouched beside the alien. Her pulse was weak. A plasma burn marked her shoulder, and her breathing was shallow. He looked into her eyes, bright violet and filled with fear. "She wasn't armed. She's not a fighter," Marcus said quietly. "No armor, no weapon marks. She's hurt." "Orders say detain any non-human presence," another soldier replied coldly. "We can question her back at base." Marcus hesitated. He knew the rule, but he also knew the Thalnar weren't raiders. They were an ancient race, mysterious, and mostly avoided humans. If she was one of them, this could be big. "Fine," Marcus said. "Bring her in. Carefully." They loaded her onto a stretcher and returned to Vega 12. Inside, the base was humming with power generators and scanners. Captain Lorne, a tough officer with sharp eyes, met Marcus in the medbay. "What is this?" Lorne demanded, staring at the alien. "Found her injured in the dunes," Marcus said. "She's Thalnar. Looks like a civilian." "Civilian?" Lorne barked a laugh. "There's no such thing out here. She's a spy. I want her awake and talking." The captain turned to the medic. "Stabilize her. No comfort drugs. Keep her conscious." Marcus didn't argue, but his stomach twisted. The alien stirred slightly, her hand trembling as she tried to sit up. The medic injected her with a stabilizer, and her violet eyes blinked open. She looked around in terror. When her gaze met Marcus's, she whispered something in broken Galactic common. "Please, not war. Help." The room fell silent. Captain Lorne frowned. "She speaks basic?" "That's convenient." Marcus stepped closer. "Who hurt you?" he asked gently. She swallowed, her voice barely a whisper. "Raiders. Not yours. I was traveling. They took everything." Lorne folded his arms. "A convenient story. Maybe those raiders were her own team." Marcus wanted to believe her. There was something honest in her fear, something that didn't look like a soldier's lie. "Captain," he said carefully, "if she's telling the truth, we might learn something about the storm activity near the dunes. Maybe her ship detected something before it crashed." Lorne sighed. "Fine, question her. But if she lies, I'll let command handle her and you." When the captain left, Marcus stayed behind. The alien woman sat quietly, clutching the blanket around her shoulders. "I'm Marcus," he said. "You are?" She hesitated, then said softly, "Soraya." "Soraya," Marcus repeated. "You're safe here. No one will harm you." She looked uncertain. "Humans do not trust Thalnar." He smiled a little. "You're not wrong." "But I do." Her eyes softened. "Why?" Marcus shrugged. "Because trust has to start somewhere." For the next hour, he asked gentle questions. She told him her ship was attacked by unknown raiders. She had escaped in a pod but crashed in the desert. Her world was far beyond the human frontier, and she had never met a human before. When Marcus reported this to Lorne, the captain dismissed it. "Keep her under guard. Command will want her ship to the nearest cruiser for evaluation." Marcus knew what evaluation meant. The science division would tear her apart for information. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. The wind howled outside, scraping sand against the metal walls. He went to the medbay again. The lights were dim. Soraya sat awake, staring out the narrow window at the stars. "They are beautiful," she said softly. Your stars. They're the same stars you see, Marcus replied. Maybe, she whispered, but you see them with hope. My people stopped doing that long ago. He sat beside her bed. Soraya, my captain wants to send you to command. They think you're a spy. Her face went pale blue. They will kill me. Marcus didn't answer. She looked into his eyes. You know this truth. Why tell me? He took a slow breath. Because I don't think you deserve it. You're just someone caught in the wrong place. Silence stretched between them. Then she said, If you let me go, they will blame you. He gave a small, tired smile. I've been blamed for worse. Outside, the night wind screamed louder. Marcus made his decision. He helped Soraya out of the bed, wrapped her in a cloak, and guided her through the dark halls of the base. The guards were few, half asleep, the storm masking their movement. When they reached the outer door, Soraya hesitated. Why? She asked again. Why help me? Because someone should, Marcus said simply. That's what humans do. She reached out and touched his hand. Her skin was cool, her voice trembling. You are strange, Marcus Hale, strange and kind. He opened the airlock and the desert wind rushed in, warm and dry. He handed her a small pack, food, water, a navigation beacon. Head east, he said. There's a canyon there. Stay hidden until sunrise. She nodded slowly. If I live, I will remember this, he smiled faintly. Just stay alive. Soraya looked back one last time before stepping into the dunes. The storm swallowed her silver hair and then she was gone. Marcus stood there for a long time watching the empty desert. He felt the weight of what he had done, disobeyed orders, released an alien without permission and possibly endangered his command. But deep inside he knew he had done the right thing. When he returned to his quarters, he removed his armor and sat in silence. The desert wind howled like a whisper of warning. Morning came with alarms. Captain Lorne stormed into his room. Hale, the alien's gone! Guards say she disappeared during the night. Care to explain how that happened? Marcus kept his face calm. No idea, sir. Maybe she escaped on her own, Lorne glared. You were on night duty. If command finds out we lost a Thalnar prisoner, they'll skin us both. Marcus said nothing. Inside, guilt and relief mixed in equal measure. Days passed. Patrols searched the desert but found no trace of Soraya. The matter slowly faded from daily talk. Most soldiers assumed she died in the dunes, but Marcus couldn't stop thinking about her. Her voice, her eyes, and her final words. If I live, I will remember this. He didn't know why those words stayed with him, but they did. At night, he often walked to the ramp again, looking toward the horizon. The desert seemed endless, silent, and empty. But somewhere out there, he hoped, someone was alive because he had chosen mercy over orders. The wind carried the faint sound of thunder, though there were no clouds. It echoed across the dunes like a promise something was coming. Marcus didn't know it yet, but his single act of kindness had already changed the course of two civilizations. A week had passed since Lieutenant Marcus Hale let the alien woman go. The desert moon of Arden 9 looked the same as always, burning sky, endless dunes, and a lonely base of metal and dust. But Marcus felt different. He couldn't forget Soraya, the fear in her eyes, her soft voice, or the promise she made before walking into the night. He often caught himself staring at the horizon, half expecting to see a silver figure walking toward the base, but she never came. Maybe she was dead. Maybe she had reached her people. He didn't know. The days moved slowly. Soldiers kept busy repairing scanners, cleaning weapons, and running drills. Life on Vega 12 was routine, boring, dusty, and predictable. But one evening, that routine started to break. It began with the sensors. The control room was quiet except for the hum of machines. Marcus was working at a console reviewing power readings when Corporal Deeks, a young technician, frowned at his screen. Sir, Deeks said, tapping the display. I'm getting weird signals from orbit. Marcus looked over. Define weird. Unidentified metallic signatures, Deeks replied. Not satellites, not debris. They're moving, slowly. Too coordinated to be random. Marcus leaned in. The scanner showed faint dots moving around the moon in a spiral pattern like something invisible circling them. Could be a glitch, Marcus said. Deeks shook his head. Already ran diagnostics. It's real. Marcus tapped his comm. Captain Lorne, this is Hale. You might want to see this. Within minutes, Captain Lorne entered the control room. His voice was calm but sharp. What's going on? Deeks pointed at the screen. Unknown objects in orbit, not transmitting identification codes, and they're closing in. Lorne narrowed his eyes. Pirates? Possible, Marcus said. But pirates don't hide this well. Maybe they're scanning us. The captain crossed his arms. Keep watching. If they land, we'll welcome them with gunfire. Marcus didn't argue, but something about those signals bothered him. They didn't look hostile. They looked organized, like someone observing quietly. That night, Marcus sat in the mess hall with a mug of cold coffee. The place was half empty. Outside, the wind howled softly, rattling the metal walls. Private Wren, sitting across from him, tried to lighten the mood. You know what I think? Wren said, grinning. Those signals? Probably ghosts. Ghosts don't have metal signatures, Marcus said dryly. Then maybe aliens, Wren replied. Hey, maybe it's your blue lady come back to haunt us. Marcus gave him a sharp look. Wren raised his hands. Kidding, sir. Just kidding. But Marcus couldn't laugh. The thought of Soraya made his chest tighten. He hoped she wasn't involved in whatever was happening. He had let her go to find peace, not to bring more danger. When he finally went to sleep, he dreamed of lightning storms and glowing eyes watching from the dunes. The next morning, things got worse at 0900 hours. The outpost's AI detected a new signal, a transmission in Thalnar code. Weak, fragmented, but definitely real. It came from somewhere beyond the northern dunes. Captain Lorne called an emergency meeting in the operations room. The officers stood around the holographic map as the AI replayed the signal. The voice that played was female, calm but urgent. Warning, energy storm incoming. Not natural. Seek shelter. Coordinates. The message ended in static. The room went silent. Marcus felt his heart stop for a second. The voice was broken, distorted but familiar. He knew that tone. It was Soraya. Captain Lorne frowned. That's Thalnar language. How did it get here? Maybe from one of their probes, the science officer said. But it's strange, it's using civilian frequency bands. Marcus spoke quietly. Sir, what if it's not a probe? What if it's someone warning us? Lorne shot him a look. You mean your alien girl? Marcus hesitated. The voice matches. She said she wasn't part of their military. The captain scoffed. And you believe her? Don't be naive, Lieutenant. The Thalnar don't send friendly greetings. But before anyone could reply, the base lights flickered. The floor rumbled slightly. The AI's voice spoke calmly but firmly. Alert. Massive electromagnetic surge detected on approach vector 310. Estimated arrival, 3 hours. Lorne turned to Marcus. Looks like your friend was right about something. The soldiers rushed into motion. Vega 12 was built to survive normal storms, but this one looked different. The reading showed spikes higher than any natural event on record. Power lines overloaded. Shield generators began to hum at full capacity. Marcus worked with the tech team checking the perimeter barriers. The desert wind had picked up, blowing sand like waves of fire under the red sun. Is this even a storm? Deeks muttered. It's like the planet's charging up. Marcus didn't answer. The readings made no sense. Temperature drops, magnetic spikes, static charges strong enough to fry circuits. It was like nature had gone insane. By the second hour, the skies darkened. The orange glow turned gray. Lightning flashed without clouds. Static electricity made everyone's hair stand up. Captain Lorne gave the order. Seal the base. Full lockdown. The heavy blast doors slammed shut. Outside cameras showed the dunes trembling as the storm approached like a living wall of dust and light. Inside, lights dimmed to emergency red. The crew huddled in the command center watching the sensors go haywire. Marcus stared at the data. That's not weather. It's energy. Pure energy. Explain, Lorne demanded. It's like something's drawing power from the planet's core, Marcus said. Maybe some kind of magnetic event. Or a weapon test, Lorne muttered. The captain's words hung in the air like smoke. Hours passed. The storm struck with full force. The outpost shook violently. Lightning smashed across the sand, painting the desert in flashes of white and blue. The shields held for a while, but then the first wave hit. The AI reported calmly. Shield integrity down to 63%. Sparks flew from the ceiling. Technicians screamed as consoles overloaded. The heat exchangers failed. Power reroute to life support. Marcus yelled, I'm trying. Deeks shouted back, fingers flying across the control pad. Outside, the world turned to chaos. The camera feed showed dunes collapsing and energy arcs cutting through the air like living serpents. Captain Lorne grabbed the comm. All hands. Brace for impact. Then, darkness. Every light in the base went out. The hum of machinery died. For a few seconds, the only sound was the wind outside and the heavy breathing of soldiers in the dark. Marcus grabbed a flashlight. Emergency powers offline. Lorne slammed his fist on the console. We're blind. Then faintly through the static of the comm came a sound, a voice. Weak, breaking through the interference. Marcus. Hold! I am coming! Marcus froze. His heart jumped. Sir, did you hear that? Lorne frowned. What was that? Someone said my name, Marcus whispered. It sounded like her. You're alien again? Lorne snapped. Impossible. No one could survive out there. But the voice came again, clearer this time. Hold on, Marcus. I am near. Before anyone could react, one of the outer alarms started blinking. Something big was moving through the storm. Motion detectors picking up a large structure approaching from the north. Deeks shouted. It's not debris, it's flying. The command room lit up with warnings. Through the static of the external cameras, a shape appeared. Massive, glowing, cutting through the dust like a ghost ship. It shimmered blue against the lightning. Is that a ship? Lorne whispered. Marcus stared, speechless. Yes, and I think I know who's inside. The massive object slowed as it neared the base. A barrier of blue energy surrounded it, shielding it from the storm. Through the lightning, Marcus caught a glimpse of alien markings across its hull, Thalnar symbols. The outpost trembled again as the ship touched down near the landing pad. The AI flickered back to life, confused by the power surge. Lorne turned to his men. Weapons ready. If they breach the perimeter, shoot on sight. Marcus hesitated. Sir, wait. If that's Saraya, she's the reason this is happening. Lorne barked. She brought this here. Marcus clenched his fists but said nothing. Deep inside, he didn't believe it. Saraya wasn't a soldier. She didn't have the eyes of someone who wanted war. The ship's hatch opened. The storm roared louder, lightning flashing behind the silhouette that stepped out. It was her, Saraya. She was alive, and she looked completely different. She wore sleek silver armor that glowed faintly blue, her eyes bright and steady. Behind her, several Thalnar figures carried strange glowing devices. The moment the humans saw her, weapons were raised. Marcus ran forward. Hold your fire! Saraya lifted a hand. I come to help, she shouted through the wind. Lower your weapons or you all die. Lightning crashed nearby, shaking the ground. The captain hesitated, glaring at Marcus. Sir, Marcus said urgently, she saved us before. Let her speak. After a tense pause, Lorne gave a small nod. The soldiers lowered their guns, but their fingers stayed on the triggers. Saraya walked up the ramp, face covered in sand and static sparks. The storm is not natural, she said breathlessly. It is a breach, a tear between energies. If it expands, this moon will die. Marcus stepped closer. You can stop it? Yes, she said. If you trust me. Her violet eyes met his. Lightning flashed behind her and the base trembled again. Captain Lorne crossed his arms. You'd better be telling the truth, Saraya nodded. Then let me prove it. The storm screamed across Arden 9 like a living beast. Lightning tore through the dark sky. Thunder shook the ground and the air itself felt heavy with electricity. The desert was no longer just sand, it was a sea of fire and wind. Inside Vega 12 base, soldiers watched in silence as the Thalnar skiff landed outside the shield gate. The massive craft glowed with blue energy, deflecting the storm's power like it was nothing. Captain Lorne stood with his jaw tight. His men waited for his command, fingers ready on the triggers. And then the hatch opened. Through the storm stepped Saraya, the same alien woman Marcus Hale had set free days ago. But she was no longer the weak, frightened traveler he remembered. She was calm, strong, and surrounded by glowing light. Her armor shimmered like liquid metal, her eyes bright and unafraid. Behind her came several other Thalnar, each carrying strange, crystalline devices that pulsed with blue light. The soldiers raised their rifles again, but Marcus shouted, "Hold your fire!" Saraya lifted her hand, and her voice echoed through the comm system. Humans of Vega 12, I come to save your lives. Let me enter. Her words sounded confident, not pleading. Captain Lorne's voice was cold. And why should we trust you, alien? The wind howled between them. Soraya's eyes found Marcus. "Because your soldier trusted me first?" Marcus stepped forward until the storm's edge licked his armor. "Open the gate," he yelled. Lorne grabbed his arm. "Lieutenant, if you're wrong, she could doom us all." Marcus met his gaze. "And if I'm right, she might be our only chance." The captain hesitated, then gave the signal. "Open the gate." The massive steel doors slid apart. The instant Soraya crossed the threshold, her skiff's shield extended to cover the base. The roaring wind softened to a whisper, and the electric light dimmed. Soldiers lowered their weapons, staring in awe. The Thalnar team moved quickly, setting their devices in a circular pattern around the base's power core. Each device hummed and sent beams of blue light into the air. "What are they doing?" Lorne demanded. "Stabilizing the storm field," Soraya said, walking toward the control room. "Your planet is caught in a magnetic fracture. Energy from the core is bleeding upward. If it grows, it will destroy everything within 100 kilometers. Marcus followed her. "How do you know that?" Soraya paused, her voice quiet but filled with weight. "Because my people caused it long ago. We built machines beneath this desert to harvest energy from worlds. But when the system failed, it turned unstable. That is what you call the storm." Lorne frowned. "So your people broke this planet and now you show up to fix it?" She nodded. "Because one of your own showed mercy. I owe him my life." The captain studied her, then turned to Marcus. "You heard her. She's your responsibility. If this goes wrong, it's on you." Marcus nodded. "Understood." Soraya and Marcus moved together through the base's lower tunnels, where the power core hummed weakly. Sparks flickered from damaged panels. The smell of burnt circuits filled the air. Soraya knelt beside the reactor and placed a crystal on the floor. It began to glow brighter, connecting with others outside through invisible energy lines. Marcus watched her work, amazed. "That technology? We've never seen anything like it." "Because it comes from knowledge your people are not ready for," Soraya said. "But you will be someday. You learn faster than any species I've met." Marcus smiled slightly. "You sound like you've studied humans." "I have," she said softly. "Since the day you let me live." For a moment, their eyes met. The storm's rumble above sounded distant now, like a fading heartbeat. Suddenly, the base shook. A massive blast of energy struck the outer barrier, throwing Marcus off balance. The lights flickered red. Lorne's voice came through the comm. "We've got a surge. The field's collapsing again." Soraya looked at the readings. "The core is unstable. It's drawing too much power." Marcus shouted, "What do we do?" Soraya grabbed another device from her belt and handed it to him. "Place this on the upper deck. It will act as a stabilizer." Marcus took it and sprinted up the metal stairs, his boots pounding the floor. Sparks rained from the ceiling as systems overloaded. He reached the deck and slammed the device into place. It glowed bright blue, sending a wave of calm through the shaking base. "Stabilizer deployed," he shouted. Below, Soraya activated her console. The Thalnar devices outside connected in a perfect circle of energy. A dome of blue light expanded outward, pushing back the storm. From the watchtower, soldiers gasped as the raging lightning turned still, trapped outside the dome like angry ghosts. Captain Lorne stared through the viewport. "She's actually doing it." For 30 long minutes, the base trembled as the alien machines worked. Marcus returned to Soraya's side, watching her hands move over glowing symbols. Sweat glistened on her skin. "It's holding," she said, "but not for long. The fracture beneath the surface must be sealed." "Sealed? How?" She looked up at him. "Someone has to enter the lower chamber beneath the reactor. Manually redirect the energy flow." Marcus frowned. "That's suicide. The temperature down there is lethal. I can survive longer than you," she said quietly. "My body is resistant to heat and radiation." Marcus shook his head. "You just got here. I'm not letting you die." Her expression softened. "You already saved me once. Let me return that gift." Before he could stop her, she turned and opened the maintenance hatch. The glow from below lit her silver armor. Without another word, she climbed down into the depths. Marcus cursed under his breath and followed her. The lower chamber was a furnace. The air shimmered with heat. Streams of raw energy pulsed through cracked conduits, glowing like rivers of light. Soraya stood near the main column, her armor sparking from the radiation. She placed her hands on a control node, sending blue waves through the structure. Marcus shielded his face and shouted, "What are you doing?" "Redirecting the flow," she yelled back. "But the system must be balanced from above." Marcus opened his comm. Captain! She's stabilizing the reactor, but we need power diverted to Grid 2. On it, Lorne's voice replied. Soraya screamed as energy surged through the core. Her armor cracked under the force, glowing painfully bright. Marcus rushed forward and grabbed her arm. You can't take that much, he shouted. Her eyes burned with determination. I have to. If I stop now, the storm will consume everything. The ground shook violently. A beam of light shot up through the ceiling, reaching toward the sky. Outside, soldiers covered their eyes as the storm collided with the beam. For a moment, the desert became pure light. Then silence. The wind stopped. The lightning faded. The sky turned clear again, revealing stars for the first time in weeks. Inside the base, systems flickered back online. Cool air filled the halls again. Marcus opened his eyes and saw Soraya lying on the floor. Her armor cracked, her breathing weak but steady. He knelt beside her. It's over, he said softly. You did it, she smiled faintly. We did it, Captain Lorne's voice came through the intercom. Status report? Marcus replied, storm neutralized. Reactor stable. She saved us all. When he carried Soraya back to the medbay, soldiers stepped aside silently. Some looked at her with awe, others with confusion. None raised their weapons this time. In the medbay, the doctor scanned her injuries. Severe energy exposure, but she'll live, he said. Her biology is unlike anything I've seen. Marcus stayed beside her bed as she slept. Outside, the stars of Arden 9 shone peacefully. Hours later, when she finally opened her eyes, she found Marcus still sitting there. You stayed, she whispered. I owed you that much, he said. You saved us, Soraya. She shook her head weakly. You saved me first. They sat in silence for a while, the hum of machines filling the air. Finally, Marcus asked, Why risk your life for humans? Your people don't even like us. Soraya looked thoughtful. Because compassion is rare in the galaxy. When I met you, I thought humans were cruel, but you showed me something different. You showed me choice, mercy. Marcus smiled quietly. Mercy doesn't win wars. No, she said, but it saves souls. Before he could reply, Captain Lorne entered. Lieutenant, the storm's gone, but Command wants answers. They want to know who she is and where that technology came from. Soraya sat up slowly. Then I will tell them, but not as an enemy, as a friend. Lorne looked uncertain but nodded. Fine, you earned a hearing. When he left, Soraya turned to Marcus. Your world will not understand my people, but maybe now they will try. Marcus looked out the window at the calm desert. Then maybe this storm did more than destroy. Maybe it changed everything. That night, the base was quiet again. Soldiers repaired systems and shared stories of what had happened. For the first time, they spoke the name Thalnar without fear. Marcus stood on the ramp, watching the horizon where the alien ship still glowed faintly under the starlight. Soraya joined him, wrapped in a human jacket. It's peaceful, she said softly. For now, Marcus replied, but I think it's just the beginning. She smiled. You are right, Marcus Hale. The galaxy will remember this place. As the two of them stood side by side under the twin moons, a soft breeze passed over the desert. In the distance, faint blue light still shimmered where her machines worked quietly, protecting both human and Thalnar alike. The storm was gone, but something far greater had been born that night, a fragile trust, a spark of unity, and the beginning of a new chapter between two species, born not from war but from mercy. The desert of Arden 9 had returned to its calm state. The twin suns rose over the dunes, casting golden light over the human outpost. The storm that had threatened to destroy Vega 12 was gone, replaced by an uneasy quiet. Yet the base was anything but calm. Reports had reached Earth Command, and already messages demanded explanations. The alien woman, Soraya, had not only survived, but she had deployed unknown technology to save the base. Now the humans at Vega 12 were at the center of a storm far larger than any nature could produce. A storm of curiosity, fear, and diplomacy. Marcus stood on the ramp, looking out at the desert. Beside him, Soraya adjusted her armor, which now had faint cracks from the energy exposure but still shimmered with soft blue light. Her face looked tired, but her eyes were steady. They'll come asking questions, Marcus said. Soraya nodded. Yes, my people are aware, and your leaders will demand answers about my presence in the machines. They'll want to know why you risked your life for humans, Marcus added quietly. Some may see it as betrayal. She looked away toward the dunes. I do not do this for them. I do it because one human believed in mercy. That choice changed everything. The first visitors arrived the next morning. Captain Lorne had received official orders. Earth Command envoys were on their way, and any Thalnar interference must be documented. 2 sleek human transport ships descended from orbit, shining in the desert sunlight. The base's personnel gathered in the central courtyard. Soldiers and scientists watched nervously as the transports landed, airlocks opening to reveal formal delegations in crisp uniforms. Marcus and Soraya walked side by side to meet the envoys. The Thalnar devices she had deployed during the storm still pulsed faintly across the outpost, harmless but glowing with alien energy. The lead human envoy, Admiral Stroud, stepped forward, his eyes sharp beneath a heavily creased brow. "Lieutenant Hale, what is the meaning of this?" he demanded. "Why is a Thalnar operative in your custody? And why is the base functioning outside of official parameters?" Marcus held his ground. "Sir, she is not in custody. She came here voluntarily to save our lives during the storm. The base was at risk of total destruction. Without her, Vega 12 would have been obliterated." Admiral Stroud frowned. "And these devices? This technology?" Soraya stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. "These are energy stabilizers. They prevent the fracture beneath this moon from consuming life. They were not built for humans, but now they protect you." A scientist stepped up, eyes wide. "These devices, the energy readings are beyond anything we've developed. It's incredible." Soraya looked at Marcus. "Your people are quick learners. You will use this knowledge wisely, or the consequences will be severe." While Earth Command envoys argued and analyzed the alien machines, a second threat emerged, the Thalnar Dominion. Ships appeared on the horizon, sleek and dark, their hulls reflecting the desert sun. Captain Lorne turned to Marcus, pointing. "And now we have company. Thalnar warships. They don't look friendly." Soraya's eyes narrowed. "They are my people, yes. But they disapprove of my actions. I have defied orders by aiding humans. They will consider me a traitor." The first Thalnar ship landed at a distance from the base. A formal envoy clad in ceremonial armor stepped out. Her presence was commanding, her violet eyes cold. "Soraya of the Thalnar Dominion," she announced, her voice carrying across the courtyard. "You have endangered your species by interfering with humans. Return immediately or face judgment." Marcus stepped forward. "She is not your prisoner. She came here to save lives. She saved all of us." The Thalnar envoy's gaze swept the humans. "Then you humans will take responsibility for harboring a traitor. Know this, your actions will have consequences." Marcus clenched his fists. "She saved this base and you would punish her for doing the right thing?" Soraya shook her head slowly. "They fear compassion. That is something my people have long forgotten." The desert wind shifted, carrying sand and tension across the base. Soldiers gripped their weapons, unsure whether they would be called to fight an alien fleet or witness the birth of something far more important. Inside the base, Marcus and Soraya convened with Captain Lorne and a team of scientists. They studied the energy stabilizers, analyzing their functions and potential applications. "They're self-sustaining," said one of the scientists, pointing at a holographic display. "Once deployed, they stabilize the local energy field automatically. If humans could replicate even a fraction of this, we could revolutionize energy production and planetary defense." Soraya nodded. "My people created these devices long ago, but they were never tested on this scale. You have seen what happens when knowledge is misused." Marcus looked at her. "And that's why you helped us. Because humans can choose mercy." "Yes," she said softly. "Your species can act with reason, compassion, and courage. That is rare. That is why I intervened. That is why I came to Vega 12 days past." Earth Command sent urgent requests for debriefing, while Thalnar envoys hovered over the base sending formal warnings. But Marcus, Soraya, and Captain Lorne worked together, coordinating the repair of the base and studying the alien technology. The bond between human and Thalnar began to grow. Soldiers were curious, cautious, but gradually, respect replaced fear. Soraya taught Marcus how her devices worked, explaining energy flows, resonance fields, and harmonics. "You understand faster than expected," she said, watching him adjust one of the stabilizers. Marcus smiled faintly. "I guess humans aren't as primitive as you thought." "Primitive? No," Soraya replied. "Different. And that difference may save more lives than you realize." Tensions reached a peak when the Thalnar Dominion's envoy demanded Soraya return immediately. Captain Lorne and Marcus stood firm. "We do not hand her over," Marcus said. "She chose to help us." "You cannot force her," the envoy's eyes blazed. "Then you accept that your species is now in danger. You defy the Dominion at your own risk." Soraya stepped forward. "I do not fear my people. I have made my choice. Humans have a strength my people cannot understand. I see hope here." The base was silent. Soldiers and scientists held their breath. Finally, the Thalnar envoy relented, retreating to her ship but leaving a warning. "This is not over. But for now, you have your time." That evening, Marcus and Soraya walked to the edge of the desert, overlooking the dunes bathed in soft moonlight. "Do you think they'll come back?" Marcus asked. "They may," she said, "but they also saw something they cannot deny. Mercy has power." "That is what they fear most," Marcus smiled. "And we've seen it too. You saved everyone, our soldiers, our outpost, even our technology." Soraya's eyes softened. "And yet it was your choice that allowed me to do it. You showed me trust, Marcus Hale. Without it, none of this would have happened." He nodded. "I just did what felt right. I didn't think it would change anything bigger." "It did," she said. "It changed more than one life. It changed worlds. And perhaps one day it will change the galaxy." The wind whispered across the dunes, carrying the scent of sand and ozone. For the first time in weeks, the desert felt calm. Inside the base, scientists recorded every detail of the Thalnar technology. Soldiers repaired equipment and shared stories of the storm and the mysterious alien woman who saved them. The name Soraya began to carry weight, a symbol of courage, intelligence, and compassion. Earth Command sent messages requesting detailed reports, but for the first time, Captain Lorne hesitated before answering. "She's not a threat," he said quietly. "She's a gift," Marcus smiled. "A gift we earned by choosing mercy." Soraya watched the humans around her, the soldiers, the scientists, Marcus himself, and felt a rare warmth in her chest. The galaxy was harsh, full of cruelty and war. Yet here, on this distant desert moon, she had witnessed something different. Humans could be merciful. They could be brave. They could change the outcome of events that even her people, ancient and wise, could not predict. And in that moment, she knew her choice was right. The following day, Soraya presented the Thalnar energy devices to the human scientists in detail. She explained how to maintain them, how to replicate their stabilizing functions safely, and how to defend the base if another energy anomaly occurred. "This knowledge," she said, "is a gift. Use it wisely. Share it cautiously. Do not let fear or greed take it from you. Humans are strong, but the galaxy is full of temptation." Marcus stood beside her. "We won't misuse it. We'll protect it, just like you protected us," Soraya nodded. "Then our worlds may not be enemies. Perhaps one day humans and Thalnar will stand together instead of apart." The sun rose over Arden 9, casting golden light across the base. Soldiers went about their duties with new confidence. Scientists moved with purpose, studying the alien technology. And at the heart of it all, Marcus and Soraya stood side by side, knowing that a single act of mercy had created a bridge between two civilizations. The galaxy was watching, and for once, it had reason to hope. The desert of Arden 9 was calm, but tension hung in the air like a heavy fog. Vega 12 had recovered from the storm, and the alien energy devices stabilized the base permanently. Scientists recorded every detail, and the soldiers felt safer than they had in years. Yet Marcus Hale knew that this calm was fragile. The Thalnar Dominion had not forgotten Soraya's actions. While she and her team trained humans to understand their technology, the Dominion dispatched a fleet of warships to Arden 9. Their arrival was silent, swift, and overwhelming in size. Marcus stood on the observation deck as the shadow of the fleet fell across the desert. The Thalnar ships gleamed black and silver, their weapons glinting in the sun. Soraya appeared beside him. Her violet eyes were calm, but her voice carried authority. "They are here to judge me. They will demand my return, or they will destroy your base." Marcus frowned. "We can't hand you over." "You saved us," she nodded. "I know. And that is why you must prepare. They do not understand mercy, only power. You will show them what humans can do differently." Captain Lorne's voice echoed through the base. "All personnel to battle stations. This is not an attack yet, but be ready. Weapon systems online." Marcus and Soraya moved through the base, checking the energy devices. The Thalnar stabilizers glowed softly, a protective shield surrounding Vega 12. Their weapons will not penetrate this field, Soraya explained, but if they attempt to breach it, the energy will react violently. That is why I warn you, use caution. One false move and it could destroy the base. Marcus tightened his jaw. We'll take the risk. Better to fight than surrender. The first Thalnar envoy stepped onto the desert, a commanding figure clad in ceremonial armor. Her voice carried across the courtyard, firm and imperious. Soraya of the Thalnar Dominion, she said, eyes scanning the humans. You have violated orders. You interfered with humans and endangered our people. Return with me now or face judgment. Soraya raised her hand, her voice calm. I will not return. I acted to save lives. Your judgment does not outweigh the value of mercy. Marcus stepped forward, facing the envoy. You underestimate humans. We are capable of more than obedience. We can choose kindness, courage, and unity, even when it is dangerous. That is what Soraya showed us. The Thalnar envoy's eyes narrowed. Your words are meaningless. Humans are weak. They survive by chance, not by strength. Marcus smiled faintly. Mercy is strength. Today, we prove it. The base trembled as the Thalnar fleet hovered above. Sensors detected their weapons charging, targeting Vega 12. For a moment, silence fell. Then the first salvo of energy beams struck the outer shield. The impact sent shockwaves through the base. Sand whipped through the desert. Soldiers scrambled to stabilize systems. The human weapons fired blindly, but Soraya's shield absorbed nearly all of the blasts. Inside the control room, Marcus and Soraya coordinated the response. Focus on defensive grids, she shouted. Do not fire unless they cross the line. Lorne's fingers moved quickly over the console. Energy devices are holding. They're testing us, but they won't break through. The battle raged for hours. Lightning-like beams of alien energy collided with the Thalnar shields, lighting the desert sky. Vega 12 soldiers stood firm, inspired by the calm determination of Soraya and Marcus. Then, Soraya did something unexpected. She activated the central stabilizer to its full capacity. Blue light spread in a dome across the desert, stretching far beyond the base. The Thalnar fleet hesitated, their weapons blocked by the alien energy. This is not just a shield, Soraya explained. It projects a signal, one that conveys our intent. It shows that we are not enemies, that we act for preservation, not conquest. Marcus realized her plan. You're not just defending the base. You're sending them a message, Gangyamwa, she said. Power without mercy is destruction. Mercy with power is influence. They will see that humans and I are not threats, only allies. Outside, the Thalnar envoys paused. The energy dome pulsed with a strange resonance, almost musical, spreading a sense of calm despite the chaos. Slowly, the warships lowered their weapons. Inside Vega 12, Marcus and Lorne watched the fleet's movement. They're retreating, Lorne muttered. They're not attacking anymore, Soraya smiled faintly. They understand. Not fully, but enough. Your people have demonstrated strength and choice. That is what they respect now. Marcus looked out at the desert. And they may come back? They may, Soraya said. But now they will hesitate. They will see that humans can be trusted, if they are given reason to trust. The Thalnar envoy approached the base, stepping carefully. Soraya, you have changed the outcome today. Your mercy is unusual. Your people will not forget this, Soraya nodded. Nor should they forget that humans can choose wisely. The envoy gave a subtle bow. You are free to continue your work here. But know this, your actions are now noted across the Dominion. Marcus felt a weight lift from his shoulders. The danger had passed, at least for now. Days later, the base returned to normal. The Thalnar energy devices were maintained, their technology shared cautiously with human scientists under Soraya's guidance. Communication with Earth Command was ongoing, with reports emphasizing cooperation and diplomacy rather than conflict. Marcus walked with Soraya to the observation deck, the twin suns shining over the calm desert. You did more than save the base, he said quietly. You changed the perception of humans in your people's eyes. Soraya looked at him, eyes softening. You did more than save me. You showed me that humans have strength beyond what I expected. That is why I acted. That is why I returned. Marcus smiled faintly. And the gifts? You said you'd bring gifts when you came back. Soraya touched one of the glowing devices. This is one. Knowledge, trust, and unity. That is the greatest gift I can give, and You humans showed me that mercy is a gift you can return again and again. The desert wind blew gently. Soldiers repaired systems, scientists worked quietly, and Vega 12 buzzed with life. For the first time, humans and Thalnar technology worked together, not as conqueror and subject, but as partners. Marcus watched Soraya teach a group of young soldiers how the stabilizers functioned. The alien woman, once fragile and alone in the desert, now guided humans with patience, wisdom, and calm authority. Captain Lorne approached Marcus. I never thought I'd see the day a Thalnar would trust humans and lead them. But here we are, Marcus nodded. It started with mercy. One choice. One act of trust. Lorne studied him. Don't forget it. Some people, even powerful aliens, need to see the right choice to act on it. We just made that choice visible. Later, Marcus and Soraya stood at the edge of the desert watching the horizon. You saved more than a base, Marcus said. You saved a relationship between two species. You returned a gift that humans may never forget. Soraya looked at him, her violet eyes bright. And you saved me first. That is why I returned. That is why gifts are not just objects, Marcus Hale. They are actions, choices, and trust. Your people understand that now. Marcus smiled. Then maybe the galaxy will understand it too, she nodded. Perhaps. And perhaps one day humans and Thalnar will stand together against the storms of the universe, not apart. The twin suns rose higher over the desert. The dunes glowed gold, reflecting a future where choice, mercy, and courage had rewritten destiny. Vega 12 hummed with life, a symbol of hope, trust, and unity. Marcus and Soraya watched in silence. For once the galaxy seemed smaller, kinder, and full of promise. The alien woman had returned with gifts indeed. But the greatest gift had been returned to both of them. The gift of trust. The gift of mercy. The gift of a future, shared between humans and Thalnar alike.